Mhm.
What is your personal brand symbol and how do you use it every day in your life?
Sure. My personal brand symbol is actually in this book. So if you notice this is the giant crested swallow. So many people might look at this picture and say, oh, that's a cactus. But this
Mm-hmm.
is not a ordinary cactus. It has this crest. This crest will occur in only 1 out of 200 of these types of cacti.
Yeah.
Now, you might say, why did I choose this? Because, first of all, when I put it in a cybersecurity leadership book, that immediately started creating questions and curiosity. And it made the book unique. No cybersecurity book would have the picture of a cactus in the front. What does this cactus represent? It represents leadership because that crest will only happen to 1 in 200 of this. To me, that means that cactus has developed something special that no other cacti have. That's leadership. Second thing, in order to survive in the desert, these cacti have very shallow roots. So, in order to survive, they have to intertwine their roots with all the other cacti. That gives them strength. Even in a desert, they will not fall down because all the cacti are supporting each other. To me, that symbolizes teamwork because I've always believed in teamwork. I never tried to do everything myself because I believe if I engage several other brains into the product, that product will be better.
Mhm.
It also shows hard work because each of those each of these branches take 50 to 60 years to grow. So that means hard work, perseverance. These trees are also in a desert where there is so little rainfall. So again, they're not focusing on the problem, which is lack of rainfall. They're focusing on the solution by storing water in their giant stems, and their entire body contains the water. They have thorns to protect themselves from animals, etc., etc. But they also have humility because they're blending in a forest of other trees. So if you are in, say, the forest, you might miss the fact that they have this crest. To me, that's humility. Then they also have integrity in purpose. In other words, they are fulfilling their purpose in society and in life. They will give shelter to the birds, fruits, flowers, all of these things. The other very important thing, continuous improvement. They're growing slowly, but surely every year. And then, of course, finally, the harmonious coexistence, because we are better off if we exist in harmony with every other person, people, or things that come along our way. So all of those symbols together make up my brand. And actually, they define me very well because that's who I am. And notice that because I have that, I'm able to share this story to anybody who asks me about my personal brand.
Yeah, that's very powerful. It's very symbolic for a plant that almost has no leaves and stands by itself somewhere in the wilderness. And if you step on it, it looks like abandoned, but if you step on it, it can poke you. Yeah.
Yes.
And so you mentioned few things: leadership, teamwork, integrity, and strength. Was there another one?
Focus on problem solution, not
Problem
focus on the
solving.
solution, not on the problem.
Yeah.
Continuous improvement, harmonious existence, all of those things. Yes, humility.
Yeah, I like it. I like that story, and you can always tell it in any way. And in leadership, also, one thing I see that also plays in this personal brand symbol is leadership is, like you mentioned, is about teamwork. But
Mhm.
sometimes there is uncomfortable moments
Mhm.
where you have to lead the team, even in the most uncomfortable situation, in a
Yeah,
crisis.
crisis. Yeah.
In a
Mhm.
crisis, you have to lead. So Cacti is always living in a crisis
Yes.
and is continuing to improve, even though it takes 50 years to grow a branch. That's
Mhm.
one branch of leadership. So I think it's a very powerful symbol. And for me, that's how I also, when I was writing my first speech, my first public speech, I kept thinking and thinking about what should mine be? What should mine be? And I had this Rubik's Cube laying around the house. And every time I will lose it. And when I'm studying or practicing or writing about what I should write for my speech, my kids kept finding it under the couch, inside the toy basket, and they kept bringing it to me. And I just never connected the dots fully. And when I look at my journey from Kenya to Ghana to USA and meeting all these diverse cultures
Mhm.
and understanding them and all these colors in the Rubik's Cube ended up showing how we should embrace diversity to become stronger together and who we are, even in the midst of obstacles. So something can seem complex, but one thing that most people don't know is there is simplicity in complexity. And
Yes.
that's one big area I learned from. Every day I'm faced with a situation, I think about the different step by step we can take to make a complex issue much simpler. I actually think if I ask people, what is your personal brand symbol?
Mhm.
Just one question, they can define basically a full chapter. You just defined your personal brand symbol, leadership, what it means, strength, continuous improvement, teamwork, and all those. When people think about one symbol, it opens up a lot of self-discovery journey that they have never thought before. And so
Yes.
that's why I actually asked that question in this show for most people.
Absolutely. Yeah, without self-discovery, you can never have a personal brand. See, too many people are listening to people who don't understand what a personal brand truly is, and they're randomly sharing things without actually knowing what
Yeah,
their personal brand is. They have not gone through the exercise of self-discovery, which I make you go through in my book. And so when they fail to do that foundational step, you will see that they are probably destroying their personal brand long before they even build it. They're often
yeah,
going to topics that they shouldn't go into. So one of the things that I talk about is staying in your own lane,
yeah,
right? If it is not your expertise, do not go into that lane. If it is not your passion, try not to go into that lane, because if you do, you will start to dilute and destroy your personal brand.
yeah. Dilution.